greatly help me to set anything I may say in context. Have you chosen a reading from the scriptures or a more secular one? I could make some suggestions if you'd like. As you see, I've brought my briefcase. I always have it with me these days. I never know what I'm going to be faced with and have to be prepared. I was a Boy Scout, you know, and I was a Girl's Guide. We must do our duty to God and the Queen. Yes, indeed, some readings. We've thought quite a lot about this. Some passages are so sentimental and we don't really want to make people cry. And we, the children on either age, don't know about those many mansions prepared for us in heaven. Anyway, we think something from the Sermon on the Mount would be best. Yes, that's an excellent choice. Blessed are the poor, the sorrowful, the gentle, those who want to see right prevail and the merciful. That's Rupert all over. And best of all, those who are persecuted in the cause of right. It's just so appropriate given what the papers have been saying about him. We paused for a moment to take it in. Sometimes the words of Scripture caught the mood perfectly. I felt there couldn't have been a better choice. And would you like a reading from another source as well? We're not sure about that. Can you suggest something suitable? I opened my briefcase and got out the little booklet I prepared with possible passages for mourners to choose from. In my experience, they often had no idea what choice there was. Beyond the dreadful death is nothing at all when it wasn't. How about I began Dylan Thomas? Do not go gentle into that good night. It concludes some of the verses with the words, rage, rage against the dying of the light. I think that's what we all feel about this tragic death. Shall I read it to you? Yes, please do. I'm not sure I know it, though I've heard of Dylan Thomas, of course. I turned to the page and began to read, leaving out a couple of the verses that seemed to me to belong less appropriately to Robert and his situation than the other four. When I'd come to the end, I looked up at their glazed eyes. Would you like that? I said. I'll read it, Mum. I want to read that. Please, can we have that one? Rachel, dear, if you want to, you can. Lee, yes, we'll have that one too. And what about the music? Have you made any decision about that, apart from hymns, which I expect Bernard has already suggested? Hello, viewers. Lucy wants to play a cello. It's brave of her, but they want to share in saying goodbye and thank you to their father, as well as all the formal church stuff. It could be better. The Clinic by Paul G. Brett. I'm going to play the Saraband from Bach's Cello Suite No. 2. Do you know it? It's in D minor and it's only about 6 minutes. It's so mournful and moving. It'll bring tears to everyone's eyes. Please sub me, viewers, if you like it. Wonderful, how very suitable. We'll all be so sad missing your father. The music will sum it all up for us. Lucy, that's perfect. And then, at the end, I'd like to play the swan from Saint-Saëns' Carnival of the Animals. The dean said the cathedral organist could play the piano part, and we're going to get together to practice it. Hello, viewers. I do know that one. It's one of my favorites. It's all about the bird floating effortlessly on the water. But I think it tells of the soul floating up into the air and never being overcome by the swirling waters below. God bless. Papa's message will live on in our memories, and it pictures that in just the most wonderful way. Oh, you're making me cry already, Lucy. God bless you for this. She's a clever girl, so romantic, they all are. I don't know what we ever did to deserve such children. Please sub me. That's all excellent. Well, now I think I must go home and give some thought to the tribute. I'll contact Bernard and tell him what we've discussed. Are you happy with that? Yes, thank you, Lee. We're very grateful to you. I suppose we'll have to move from here. At least we've got the cottage in Eastbourne. Don't think about that yet. This is your home and no one's going to push you out. Take your time and give Jane and me a ring at any time, if we can help or if you just want a listening ear. I left the family to their grief and drove home. I was as upset as they were after working through these readings and that music. It would be the saddest event of the diocesan year, but it would also be one of the most moving occasions, almost the most moving, I'd ever taken part in or known. People might come to believe in God as a result of being part of such a powerful ceremony. Every cloud I contemplated as I drove along had some silver lining. The day of the memorial service dawned cloudy and overcast. It seemed that the heavens themselves were mourning Rupert's death. I got to the cathedral in good time and met Bernard in the vestry. "I say, old fellow, good to have you back. Quite agree with Mrs. K, and you should have the tribute. After all, I don't think he liked me very much, and if I said a lot of nice things about him, there'd be those who thought I was being a bit hypocritical. Don't speak ill of the dead, eh? They've chosen the hymns and you agreed the readings and music, so everything's ready to go." The nave was filling up quickly. Clearly Rupert was held in some regard throughout the diocese. I could see the Laytons near the front, and Peter Greenford and his son Hugo and Lucy, and to my surprise Jean and Amanda with an unexpected smile on her face. God bless. That was a change, I thought, and Jane was there too, and Sam and Amy with her. Bernard read the verses from Matthew chapter 5, and then Lucy played the saraband, and there was hardly a dry eye in the house. I wasn't very familiar with Bach cello suites, but if that was what they were like, I made a mental note to get to know them. Of course, Bach could hardly be bettered on any occasion like this. Before I knew it, my turn had come, and I made my way to the front. I could have gone up into the pulpit, but it was such an elaborate thing, and so high, 6 feet above contradiction, they used to say. I'd often spoken from that place during my years here, of course, but this time I felt it was much more appropriate to speak modestly from the lectern beside the altar. Opening my folder with the script in it and taking a deep breath, I began. "Hello, Cale, Imagine. I felt it a great and undeserved honor to have been asked to speak to you today. The sudden loss of a loved one is, of course, a most sad occasion for the family, and indeed for all those who knew and were close to the one who has gone from us. I know that everyone present will wish to join me in expressing our deepest sympathies to the Knightsbridge family and their friends. You may wonder why the vicar of 2 modest parishes in this diocese should be standing here now. My wife and I first met Bishop Rupert, true, 3 years ago at Glyndebourne, in the grounds of that lovely Sussex Opera House. That makes me his longest standing acquaintance in our diocese, though back then he was still a suffragan bishop in a certain northern diocese, and we had no idea that he would meet again in quite different circumstances. It is not my intention to give a history of Rupert Knightsbridge's life and career. That has been adequately summarized in the order of service which you will have all received. His photograph on the front is one that we will treasure for years to come. It will bring to mind memories of an intelligent and able man, someone with a grasp of the ancient traditions of the Church, tempered with a deep desire to organize us more efficiently. He wanted us to promote the Christian gospel more effectively and to become living examples of its values and all it stands for in our personal and community lives. I mentioned our first meeting at Glyndebourne. We had gone to see Beethoven's opera Fidelio. Let me remind you of the story. Florestan has been unjustly imprisoned. His wife Leonora, disguised as a man, the faithful Fidelio, works her way into the prison searching for him. With her encouragement, the prisoners are let out into the garden. Later, Florestan has a vision of his wife as an angel leading him to freedom, while the jailer prepares to dig a grave for him. Finally, the prisoners are granted an amnesty, and Florestan is released and reunited with his faithful wife. The Clinic by Paul G. Brett on Amazon Co. UK. Hope you enjoyed my reading.